gang, I'm Tim, and welcome to my channel. So, if you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen the old Thunderbird in the background here just collecting dust for the longest time. So I'll fill you in on the backstory of this old Thunder Chicken back here. We always affectionately call it Pepe's bird or the Thunder Chicken. My grandfather bought this car new. So, pretty cool story. You know, it's kind of handed down, ended up with it. I ended up with it. My dad handed it down to me as like, I'm a car addict. So we've got this beautiful old bird, and the old bird's been neglected. So here it's a winter car because it's black interior, black vinyl top, and when it's 980 degrees like it has been here the last few weeks, it's not really comfortable to drive it, but it's awesome in the winter here to use it. So we got to fix up the old bird. So it's been hanging out here in this kind of condition for like 2 years or so. The brakes weren't feeling all that great, so I decided to do a complete full brake upgrade. Put it up on jack stands, bought all the parts, bought a new dual master cylinder because it has the single jar, and got all the parts for it, new pads, new hoses, all that jazz. So we're gonna do a brake upgrade on it, but first we need to get it running. So today's mission, I robbed the carburetor off of it, so we gotta kind of go through the whole thing. I think all of the transmission fluid is sitting on the ground there in the pan and cardboard boxes. So let's clean it up and get all the garbage off of it, kind of dig it out. And let's dive into it and see if we can start stitching it back together and at least get it running. Obviously, we're going to leave it on jack stands, but I really want to get the old bird running, get it up to temperature, and make sure we can bring it back to life. So let's dive in and start cleaning up, and then we'll dive into the motor. I'll show you what we got inside there. Thanks, come on. All right, so let's dig in. I want to show you what we're dealing with here. The car is pretty complete outside of, well, it's totally complete outside of what I robbed off of it. So I had put a new Summit carburetor on there, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago, and it was running fine. It was running good. So we gotta get that back together. Hopefully I didn't lose all the parts. I got parts all over the place. We got brake pads, we got brake shoes, brake lines, proportioning valve. So we're gonna swap that out. So after we get it running, we're gonna dive in, get rid of that single jar, and put a dual jar in, but that's a job for another day. Today we gotta get it running. But it's a beautiful old bird, and I know Pepe's not happy with me. But I wanna just show you what we got. So that's, you know, the engine's pretty complete. The interior is nice, dirty. Let's check it out. You know, look at these interiors. Even if you're not a Ford guy, look at that, it's so cool. And it's such an awesome car. And then I got another problem here, and if any of you guys are familiar with these things, if you could help me out. See all the bleeding? See all the bleeding under there? So, I had a local transmission shop like 5 years ago, pull the tranny, all the seals, the front pump gasket, everything. And if I let it sit for like more than a week and a half without starting it, it starts leaking. And obviously it's been here for 2 years, so it's leaking a lot. So help me out in the comments if you know what that possibly could be, because I have no idea. But let's dig in, let's get going. We'll start trying to stitch back the carburetor and whatever else I took apart, I don't even remember. All right, so let's go. First order of business, we need to get the old battery on charge here. This is a pretty old battery. I'm just looking at the sticker here, 8 of 17, so 17. That's how many years? 18, 19, 20, it was like 6 years old. Woo! Hopefully it'll hold a charge, at least enough to start it. Let's just stack this somewhere. I don't know where. Shoes, master cylinder, hose, wheel cylinders. We got everything. Proportional valve. So we'll put that on supercharge for a while. Hopefully it'll hold long enough to, or hold enough charge to get it started. At least. Let it run, and like I said before, I want to get it up to temperature, so let's just see what we got. Here's the old air cleaner. I put that old air cleaner on there, makes it go a little faster. We got hoses. This thing had cruise control, everything. This was a loaded rig when Pepe bought it. I still have the original sales slip too, which is pretty darn cool. We got the gasket on here, electric choke. More gasket stuff. It's full of cockies. So let's clean this up because it's like almost like mouse nest stuff up in there. I'm trying to remember everything that we did here. I got a carburetor gasket on it. I got another carburetor gasket on there. I got a thin one. I got a thick one. The studs are still there, so that's a good sign. I don't remember. That looks like a bad one. That must be the new one. That one doesn't look too good. All peeled off and cocky. And I think I've gotten, that's what it is. That's a new one that I used on Fred. So we just used it for a little while on Fred when I was having some trouble at first with the sniper. It was actually, I just wanted to time it first. That's what it was. So yeah, we won't be using this one. It's not looking too good. Look at the underside of this old carburetor. Will it hurt anything if I put gasket on a gasket? I hope not. That's what I'm gonna do. Gotta clean up in there a little bit more, and then we're gonna put a gasket on a gasket. We'll get this critter all bolted in. See if we can figure out all the linkages here. Yeah, a little something was leaking back there. It was like oil maybe. Yeah, maybe out of valve cover. Just usually can't see it buried back there behind the carburetor. That's good. That can stay. I don't know if this Summit carburetor is like a Chinese carburetor or what, but I mean, it works, seems to work good. It ran like a champ before. I had trouble with the old Autolite one, and I put this on there, and it was night and day. So now I got to remember what we did. Of course, the fuel line's easy. That's just sitting here. And slide that back together, maybe. Oh, maybe. A screwdriver. Oh, almost there. There we go. I think we're good. Tighten this baby up. Better screwdriver that actually fits. That's much more better. Okay. Got our electric choke. There's a vacuum line going down to the transmission. So we got the transmission. Where's this critter go? What row? This ported vacuum's got to be the Vacuum Advance, because that's right here. Should have taken a picture of this. I guess a word to the wise. This transmission modulator. Oh, you know what? I put a cover on it for when I was using it on Fred. That's what it is. Okay. And this one bolts right up here. Well, slides right on here. There we go. That's better. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. The brake booster. Okay, in this car, the brake booster goes into a big old block here. So there's a big vacuum block going right into the manifold with all kinds of doodadders on it. Here, cross down here, PCV's tied into it. It's like everything in your brother's tied into it. So I've got one more. Oh, this little vacuum line, it's actually not a vacuum line, it's some kind of a heat riser coming off of the exhaust manifold. So I'm thinking it's like a bonus thing that we don't need that. Unless it's gonna give me an exhaust leak. Find out. I don't see another vacuum port. Where could I have this plugged in? I don't know, mon ami. I'm gonna leave it off for now. If we got a bad tick, and we'll figure it out. Fortunately, it looks like didn't lose any of the hardware. I hope the old girl starts. It's been like 2 years. This was my grandfather's baby. He loved this car. Loved this car. So we restored it back in 1989, painted it. And he had lost his legs, he was sick. And I'll never forget the day after we got it back from my buddy's shop. We painted it at my friend's shop in Colchester, Connecticut. And another friend painted it. So after it was all done, we went and took Pepe for a ride. And it was just, he cried. It was so awesome. I mean, he was just so happy, and that image will never, ever, 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 ever leave me, of his happiness taking a ride in his Thunderbird. So, yeah. Pretty special car. So this has my favorite design of a throttle return spring. Bolts to the carburetor. Look at how awesome that is. Simplicity at its finest. So that just goes onto the back stud of the carburetor. And I'm just missing a washer. So I gotta go find a washer. Right, we got us a washer. Oh, and it's the wrong side. Now we got one for real. Yep, we're good. Now what do I do with that nut? There it is. When I was having the brake trouble, so I'm just going to snug these up and just kind of do the alternating pattern and use the old wrist torque wrench. So I started to tell you the old brake situation. I put a new master cylinder on it, not a new master cylinder, a new brake booster, and it really didn't help. This thing used to stop like so fast, it was ridiculous. So put the new booster on it and it really didn't change anything, so I'm super disappointed in that. So we're gonna go through everything. We got everything new. So it'll be nice to have the dual master cylinder as well instead of just a single old jelly jar style. A little safer. So that's next up for the bird. Bird is a word. Sweet, that's easy. Okay, springage. I'm just gonna hook this baby down in that lower hole. Give it a little twist. I think we should be in. Yep, nice. And then the throttle cable. It's got a nice metal cable. My eye's obviously still on there. A little happy clippy. Boom. That's awesome. Easier than I thought. Let's check all the old fluids here. Not sure how much the old bird has bled out. Once it warms up, we definitely got to change and check that transmission fluid. Oof. That's really dirty. Doesn't look too bad now. Look at that. Oh, can you see that? It's still pretty clear. Definitely needs to be changed though. We'll get it up to temp and yeah, I'll pick up oil filter tomorrow. That's good. I have no idea if we got coolant. No, we don't have any coolant. I gotta find coolant. Zero. That's no brainer. So we were just working on Fred the other day. Put the new thermostat in Fred. I don't know where the coolant went. Didn't take quite half a gallon. Fluid's good. We got oil good. We got to get some fuel down the old carburetor. Okay, got the fuel. We'll just shove a little down the old fuel bowl here. Try to. Okay, I think I got some in there. The rest of it went on the engine. We'll be all right. Let's try it. Gas is, well, I haven't poured any down the carburetor yet. Let me just turn it over a little bit. Lights come on, that's a good sign. What a mess. Poor Thunderbird. Give it a whirl ski. Cool, that's a good sign. Let me pour a little gas down the old carburetor. Over nice. What did I do with the gas? There it is. Okay, just gave her a drink. Like first shot. We give it a little drink again. I don't expect it to run that great because that gas is old. That was a good drink. Good old Gatorade. Right, let's see if she'll fire. Yeah, look at that, like a kitten. Thunderbird's alive. After like 2 years of sitting here, just like that. I wonder why Pepe loved this car. Wow, burning like a kitten. This is awesome. I did not expect it to be that easy. Wow. Let's let it idle here for a little bit. Let it get up to temperature. We'll check all our fluids. Oh, man alive, look at it. The bird's just purring like a kitten. Let me bring you in here. Listen to the old bird hum. Look at it. It's been sitting. The old bird's been sitting for like 2 years. I mean, really. It has like 68,000 miles, I think it is. You know, totally original. My grandpa bought it new. My Pepe. It just purring like a kitten. The car runs so good down the road. I'm kind of pumped up now. Give it a little juice. It's got some old gas. Oh, I talked too soon. She puked it. Let's start it back up. So I had to put the old battery charger back on it. That battery's not too good. Okay, that's good. Fire right back up. I think we got a little more playing to do. Maybe that vacuum leak. Doesn't want to idle. Still getting fuel. Might be a fuel pump issue, I don't know. Let's try it again. So I'm having to pour gas down a carburetor. I'm just going to run it at a high idle for a few. See what it does. Alright, so I just, sorry up close and personal. I just jumped out, keep it opened up with a screwdriver. I think I just need to give it a little idle adjustment. There we go. That helped. It just wouldn't stay idle when I let off the screw. That's better. Pretty awesome. So hey, we got the old Thunderbird back running. So plans for it. Brakes. We're going to put the air cleaner on it. Let that charge for a little bit. See if it'll actually hold a charge or not. Let's give it a good like 45-minute charge. I'm not holding my hand to my thinking it's gonna, but I'm going to give it a try anyway. We're going to check the transmission fluid. And I was thinking about it. I don't think I'm going to add any to it until we do the brakes. Because I'm thinking if I add fluid to it, at $10 a quart, it's going to be on the ground. So I'm just going to let it sit for now until we do the brakes. And then once we're ready to put it back on the earth, then we'll top off the old transmission. But I think it was a success. I know it was a success. We got the old bird running again. Pepe's happy. I know he was upset with me for neglecting it like this. But yeah, we're good. The old bird's purring like a kitten again. The old Thunderbird's flying. Love it. Hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you haven't already. Really appreciate that. We will see you on the next one. Next up for the bird is a full brake redo. So we'll catch you on the bird, that one, but I think we got a couple others before we get to that one. So we'll see you soon. Thanks all. Take care. Bye. Appreciate you. Look at the old bird purring like a kitten.